Well, good morning. We want to call the meeting to order. It's Thursday morning, April 28th, a little after 9. And we did get Michael did his updates. It should be 4.3. And do you have a copy?
I have it on email. So I don't-
Yeah, but you don't have your machine.
Well,
Well,
I do.
you can, we can get you one. You didn't have copies printed, right?
I did not.
It's okay.
Would you like me to get
No.
copies?
I don't need one either, Linda. I got it here.
Anthony, you all set?
I'm good.
Yeah. And Corey's all good.
Yeah, I was just questioning the strategy of changing that way with amendment, but I'm fine.
So if we go, page 8 is all the same with the exemptions, the surface water and withdrawals and that. And so that's all pretty much the same. Number 4 is our part in there. And it's got the farming in there, as we talked about the other day with Michael. And then we went to page 17, I think. And that's where the language starts. And I think down at the bottom, on line 20, the location of the withdrawal, we wanted to clarify that so that in the report, they would tell us what watershed or river it was coming out of, so it could be determined how much was coming in. And then the last page is the language, 4 and 5 with the date of the daily maximum withdrawal. And then the sharing of the data with A&R to get a complete listing of how much water is being withdrawn and from what resource and forwarding to us. So, Brian?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I don't have the advantage of having numbers on this,
Oh,
but I think the only changes were made in section 4927. Is that correct?
From yesterday,
Yeah,
I believe that's true. There may be, Michael told me that there was 1 or 2, every place we had withdrew 10,000 gallons or more. There was 1 or 2 places where people caught that we missed it or more.
okay.
But other than that, yeah, the location.
So we've added the location and we've added the phrase, any other information related to surface water
Yes.
withdrawals, not somebody's birthday or favorite color. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm on board. I think everybody.
Your mom's maiden name so they can
Yeah.
hack your bank account.
Right.
That's right.
yeah, so I thought it looked pretty good.
Yep.
We probably still got something wrong somewhere, but it looks good to me.
Senator, Justin and Sam both emailed that they approved, they feel good about the.
Okay, good.
I haven't seen Justin's. I did see Sam's.
Yeah, well, that's good too.
Works.
And,
And Ryan is online here.
yeah.
What about Maddie and,
I think they are following Justin's lead. is my
Okay.
understanding.
Ryan, are you on?
Yes, Chair Starr, I'm here.
Yeah, have
Oops,
you had
sorry,
an
no.
opportunity to look over draft 4.3?
Yes, for the record, Ryan Patch, Vermont Agency of Agriculture, Food and Markets. The agency has had a chance to review the draft that was shared and has no comments on it. It seems everything that was discussed yesterday is included, and the farmers, from what I've heard and seen, seem to think it's a workable program for them, the reporting.
Yeah, so you guys are all set?
Yes, Chair Stark, we are. Thank you.
Yeah.
Senator, I didn't send them the one this morning. It's on the webpage, but I don't know if he knows there's a new one as of this morning. You just mentioned that.
Ryan, did you have 4.3 that you looked at, or
It's 4.3, but it has a different time stamp.
it has a
It
button?
has today's date.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, it has
Yeah,
4,
uh,
but different, it matter what the date is.
Because that's when he gave us a final draft this morning.
Oh.
It was written this morning.
The very final draft was at 4/28 at 7:09. Is that the one?
Yeah.
You were,
yes, we see the 10,000 gallons or more. The or more has been added to a number of sections and seems to just have been a minor correction for clarity, and definitely makes
Yeah.
sense to include that. So yes, we are reviewing the latest draft and it all looks good. Thank you.
yeah. Any questions from anybody? No. Somebody like to move to get that voted out?
Sure. I'm happy to move that we amend H 466 with draft 4.3.
Second.
At 7:09 a.m.
Yes, our hardworking ledge council.
Yeah, so it's been moved and seconded, so would the clerk like to call the roll?
Senator Colmore,
Yes.
Senator Parent, yes, Senator Pearson,
Yes.
Senator Polina,
Yes.
Senator Starr.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, very good.
Now do we
Further
move?
move.
Yeah, I move that we approve H 466 as amended.
Second.
Right,
Yeah, is there a second? Did you
Yeah,
second?
yeah.
Yeah,
Senator Colmore,
Yes.
Senator Parent, yes, Senator Pearson,
Yes.
Senator Polina,
Yes.
Senator Starr.
yes.
Very
So
Who's
that
recording?
I'm happy to report that. Sure.
Chris is the reporter. And
That copy we got this morning is a clean copy.
Okay, can you print us one copy? Because I don't have that. We do need a physical.
You need a
copy.
physical copy? Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe not.
take
Or
up.
do I have to take up?
I'll be happy to.
Okay,
And it would be good to take it up.
I'll take it up right now.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, and maybe I'm not reading this right. This is presented as a strike all.
To the natural report.
Okay, so
So-
we kept everything the same till that one section, right?
That's
The
right.
one you'll be.
Well, not entirely though, because it falls under definitions. That's why we did it as a strike all. There's a
Okay.
couple little.
Okay, yep,
And you've got to go back under the exemption section because we added our
Yep.
ag in there.
right. Exceptions, not exemptions.
So-
I gotta go to House Transportation for 10 minutes and then at 9:30 to House Ag. And I'm
Yes, 9:30.
gonna go do that.
Okay,
And you want to testify?
was it?
Richard,
Oh,
he'd want us to do so.
We should sit on the bill for 2 more days though.
Pardon?
you're still worried about your airport, huh?
Yeah. No, Becca says she supports it.
How's that doing?
Finance hasn't taken that. When are you guys gonna take up finance, Pearson?
We got a few other things we're working on. So I don't know. I'm
We're
not
not
sure.
getting out at the end of next week, are we?
I don't see how, are we?
I doubt it.
Right? Oh, okay.
I just don't want to get lost in the shuffle.
No. What else is in that bill? No, she's mentioned that we got a deal with Miss Ag, you know, that's all I've heard. I wasn't here when you guys added it there, so I forget that that's.
I mean,
Yeah,
We've
well,
been
I just
dealing with
went
all-
over Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys got your plate pretty full.
We'll get it.
Um, And,
We gotta deal with people waiting.
so anyways, the other issue that I'm wondering if we should do something with is the neonics bill. We haven't, it's the only thing that's hanging out there. And I didn't know, and Chris has been talking about trying to do something to get that out. Do you want to explain anything, Chris, on
Yeah,
where
so.
you were coming from with that?
So a couple things, I mean, that bill has positions in it and a bunch of other complicated things. So my hope was we would strip it down to try to get at this neonic treated seeds. The other, but get rid of the positions and sort of simplify. The other thing is that the House language was looking for BMPs on all treated articles, which is a lot more than just neonic seeds. And, you know, we haven't had any testimony on any of that. So my hope was to sort of just narrow it to the core of the issue around neonic treated seeds. Ask for the BMPs around those, which are not mandatory, right? They're sort of guidance, which I think, as I understand, the agency is pretty close to having. They just are, I
I'm
don't
trying to
really
get
understand.
hold of Carrie
Yeah.
to see if they've already written rules
That's-
for best management procedures and.
God, you always are just uncovering the layers, but, so to try to do that and then to push the rest of the treated seed world to the Ag Innovation Board to have them look at that. So we're not moving on that piece, we're moving on BMPs for neonic treated seeds. But then pushing the rest of the universe to the Innovation Board. And the hope for me is not that we end, clearly, nobody thinks we're gonna end neonic treated seeds. But we've heard that they're harder to get and all that, and Chair said, you know, what do we have confidence in how much chemical is put on each seed? What if you use them every other year? You know, sort of tease some of that stuff out, and at the end of the day, kind of nudge the seed vendors to carry some options, which they could do. They just, you know, there's sort of this default to treated seeds. So I don't look at this as that onerous. I look at it as sort of a little part of the process that is voluntary, but sort of has some weight because it comes from the agency, that would have people like kind of make a mindful decision whether or not they need to be planting these things or could have some other options. That's where, that'd be my hope. I know it's not easy in this group, but.
Well, the big thing is to get the Innovation Board in a position where they will actually spend the time to investigate and look into. But can we, and get that so that they report not only to the agency, but report back to us. The House ag and Senate ag committees to, if they could get that done, that in-depth review done by next season. Right?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess I'm a little confused. I thought we already had decided as a committee to ask the Innovation Board to do this investigation and study or whatever we want to call it. And that's where I thought we were, so.
Well, yeah, we haven't sent them a letter yet or anything.
Okay.
That's why it's still hanging out there. That's why I brought it up. And I don't know.
I think that part, I don't exactly remember exactly, but the former Pollinator Protection Committee, whatever it was called, I believe, moved in the direction of calling for best management practices and some other things. So if we did what Chris is talking about, we would be just sort of adding the next step to that process where they were basically told by the Pollinator Protection Committee that we should do that. But now we're saying, okay, now you got to do it in terms of the neonics. And then the Innovation Board, or whatever it's called, the Innovation Board would look at the broader issue of treated seeds in general.
So what would we put in there for a requirement for the, or ask the Innovation Board to pursue the different, like the amount of pesticides on a particular seed, the amount of pesticide that remains in the soil, because somebody told us that it only takes 5% of what they put on the seed to, and what happens to if that's accurate, I have no clue whether it is or isn't. The other 95%, does that stay in the soil? Or what happens to that? Is it possible to get the same crop the second year without even using treated seed? Like Bordeaux said that there was a 10 or 20% reduction where he planted non-GMO seeds. And I know he has, from that picture, he has corn in that field every year. I mean, it doesn't get over to grass for a few years and then back. So I don't know.
Right, I do think, to answer your question, I do think that the BMPs would, again, their advisory would sort of offer some of those answers in terms of, like, if you're seeing this level of pests, you want to make sure you're using this level of treatment. If you're, I mean, the thing that concerns me is we've swirled around this for many years.
Yeah.
We've looked to get reports from the dealers. There's an amendment in here to actually get detailed reports, right? So the seed dealers have said, yeah, I sell treated seeds. And so there's an amendment in here. Help us understand the quantity, help us that, like, every step of the way, we've been meeting, to say the least, resistance. And I just think that that what we're contemplating here is a little bit of a more mindful approach, so that you don't just go get corn seed and turns out you didn't even think about it, you got treated corn seed.
Well, I don't think they have much of a choice, right?
That's the point, but that's not.
And you get it even if you don't need it.
That's right.
One question would be like, how much treatment does seeds actually need to be effective?
Oh, that was what I was going to say. Because we've been poking around at this, the dealers have admitted that they've now reduced the amount of pesticide on
The
seed
manufacturers.
without, that was just because, you know, and of course, across the world, this conversation is happening, but it just sort of demonstrates to me that nobody said, hey, we've got this level of pest, you need this much. It's all sort of evolving. And to me, this is the natural step. It's not draconian. It doesn't preclude anybody using these. It just kind of says, you know, if you're using these, here's what we would advise. And that doesn't seem like it goes too far. It builds on whatever, 5-8 years ago.
I guess I still don't know that we need a bill to do that. I think the letter to the AIB would.
Well, the letter gets them to do a study. The bill gets them to create PMPs.
Hey, Ryan, are you still on?
Yes, Senator.
You don't know if Carrie's around over there, do you? Are you at the office or are you at home?
He's
I
outside.
am remote. Yeah, outstanding in my field. I can check in with Carrie and see if he's available.
Yeah, see if he can jump on. Yeah, we can only go until about 1:15, so see if he can jump on, please. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I will. Thanks.
I was gonna call him, we didn't have his number, and I tried to call Terry, and she was remote. Could almost think those guys would be back working full time, or in the office. I was so glad to get out of home, working from home.
Oh, gosh.
I couldn't wait to get back here and get back on that.
Today's the day for the COVID numbers to come out again. I think.
Oh, in what way?
So that
CDC.
if Washington County is below the red, we can take these
Well,
off.
the state numbers yesterday took a sharp incline, including that. Now I'm starting to just watch the hospital and the ICU numbers, because the case numbers are,
Over
More true.
400, right?
yeah, the case numbers exploded, but the ICU numbers sort of doubled. So that's what, from 5 to 9,
No,
but still, that's, to me, that's the
Wonder
one.
if
to
we're
watch.
ever gonna get rid of that.
it stopped being the lead story in
Yeah.
a lot of news. And that,
Fauci said we're kind of in a new phase. We're out of pandemic.
oh. Well, of course, everything he said is true, so.
Well,
But you know, when
he's
you
fairly deliberate.
think of the deaths nationwide,
It's 1 million, right? It's over 1 million.
yeah, I mean, it's more than our whole population. It'd be like,
Yeah.
well, of course, I don't think anybody would notice if Vermont was wiped right off the face of the earth
I think-
anyway, but
They'd miss us.
you know, the tree huggers think that we're gonna save the rest of the world with our, you know, modern, up-to-date science. And what the hell on the weather this morning, they told that back 30 years ago, it was 90 degrees today or something like that. You know, we were burning up back then, just nobody spoke about it. You know, you. put
We have
your-
more than a little data on that one.
30 years is,
I mean, things are gonna change, I would hope.
I mean, this winter, I've never seen a winter where the temperatures yo-yoed like that. That was unreal.
I don't.
Well,
Or
it's
just
still, I don't
up,
know about where
yeah.
you are, but it snowed quite a bit in my house
Today?
last night. It was snowing when I left this morning when I drove. in the
Yeah,
truck.
my
Well,
house
snowed
was
here.
flurry.
My car was all covered this morning.
Took the snows off.
Me too.
I didn't bother to sweep it.
I actually left my window open in my car last night. On the passenger side, so
I hope not all the way.
it was all the way.
Okay.
But I turned the heat up a lot, driving in and it melted, it cleaned up pretty well.
You'll get in trouble and next time you give your wife a ride.
Right,
So good.
she's down in Boston without snow tires, coming back today.
Well, maybe, I don't know if he's gonna make it or not, but.
Well, yeah.
Why don't we? See, we have the vehicle, it's a house bill,
Yeah.
so. Have you got time to work on that?
Yeah.
Uh,
I'll make time.
but keep it, I mean, if we're gonna get out of here. We gotta have it. Pretty direct and low keyed and. You know, the big thing is try to push the innovation board to really do the heavy lifting on that. And if you want to promote BMPs, I think that's fine. But I wanted to get Kerry on this, see if he's already, if they're already doing that. And then get it,
Yeah.
see if Michael can get something put together and back to us. Cause the way stuff is falling.
Here's
Yeah.
Carrie.
Pardon?
Carrie's here.
We're gonna be here next week and the week after.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I'm gonna get sick.
You able to pull over?
No, but that's all right.
You're bouncing around pretty good. Are you in an airplane or?
No, a dirt road, Senator.
Hey, quick question. Have you already been working on the RAPs for
Yeah.
EMP?
Yes,
For,
yes, the agency's been working on that for 4 years. Erica Cummings, a previous employee, was working with Sid Bosworth from UVM Extension on what methodology would work best for Vermont. We lost Erica about a year ago, and her replacement has picked it up. And it is something that's on the agenda for the next Ag Innovation Board meeting.
okay, and what do we need to do to get the Ag Innovation Board to do a little deeper dive into treated seeds, to try to figure out how much pesticide is on the seed, if we could get along with more, need more, need less, whether or not you could use treated seeds every other year versus annually, things of that nature. What's left in the soils after a season?
So the the questions that are in H626 there, those will be presented to the board whether that bill passes or not. So if you look at the IPM protocols that are sort of written into the bill, that will be the task that the Ag Innovation Board tackles this summer. And as far as like use rates, 10 years ago, I believe I provided this testimony in the past, but 10 years ago, we were at a rate of 1.2 milligrams of imidacloprid per seed. The rates we're looking at last year and the year before are 0.25 milligrams of chlorotraniliprole per seed. So they already have cut the rate by 5 times.
So to compare the 1.2, would you compare that to 0.59 or,
0.25.
pardon?
You would compare that to 0.25.
So they've gone down over 75%?
Yeah, yep.
See, so, so Carrie, the bill that the House passed forces BMPs on all manner of treated seeds. You're talking about the work the agency's been doing, I believe, just on neonic treated seeds. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
So if we were to strip the language back a little bit and push you to create BMPs for neonic treated seeds, it sounds like that work is, you know, I don't know what percentage of already done, but well on the way. Is that accurate?
It is accurate, yes.
And then
what
go ahead.
what we haven't done is sort of the work of establishing threshold levels, like how many are too many in terms of wireworms or white grubs or other pests under the soil. We know what trapping methods work, but we don't know what level has an economic impact and what level doesn't. And that's a sort of exercise that we would like input from the Ag Innovation Board on.
And so, to your mind, I mean, what we're discussing in here, well, is a couple of things. Quickly, other treated articles besides treated seeds that are not neonics. To me, it seems appropriate that we, you know, encourage the board to keep looking at that, but we're not ready to act there. Do you agree?
Yes, yep.
So, what I'd like to see is, for us to, we're kind of in the committee here discussing whether or not to send you a letter that has the board, you know, doing more work, or to send a bill that has the board create BMPs. And I guess my question is, does the BMP piece of legislation path, does that feel realistic? You know, the timeline that's laid out there, it's not like you got 2 months. It gives you time to do the more work. What could you just comment on that?
Yeah, that timeline does feel realistic. It would ensure that we did some of that work in field work this season, discussed it with the board over the winter, and then implemented a plan. We're really interested actually in some of the work that Heather's doing as well. So we need a good growing season with boots on the ground in the field to do some of the testing and trapping and compare crop loss, basically. Because everybody's done a study about crop loss and they're conflicting, and we need some data that we can sort of hang our hat on.
So would a letter work, or do you need a bill?
Oh boy. Well,
Bill, you'd like to write a letter.
yeah,
You're kind of checking out on us, Gary.
we will do this work either way. Resources, a little bit more resources to do this work. We'll do it with or without those resources at this point.
So Bill, you were cutting out, Carrie, awfully convenient time to be cutting out. Are you?
I'm sorry.
No, I'm teasing you. I guess I'm hearing you say a bill is a little more more of your preference, but you'll do it either way?
Correct. Yep. I guess I was suggesting that the bill provides resources to ensure this work happens. And, you know, even without those resources, we're committed to getting it done.
I got bad news for you. There is no money. The well is dry.
And I would suggest, Senator, the pesticide monitoring program is not quite dry yet.
Oh, you've got plenty of money
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna strip those positions out of here, and then if I get my way, we'll give you the nudge of a piece of legislation.
All right.
Any other questions for Carrie?
No, I made my position clear.
Okay, thank you, Carrie.
Yep. You're welcome. Good luck.
Yeah.
Enjoy your trip.
Yeah.
So,
If you do a bill, you can direct them to use money from the pesticide advisory fund, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I don't know if we need to direct them, but
no, just allow.
remember when we ripped up those chemical company fees a few years ago? That's what he's talking about, I think.
Yeah, they got,
They got plenty of cash.
well,
The advantage of a bill is you give them a timeline, you know, these guys are not always. So you would have that
so
oversight.
what about putting a draft together that would request the Innovation Board to look into those different steps and the agency as well. And to do their field trials and what the heck, you know, they want to do. And
I mean, I think that is the work that we're talking about. The question is it a letter which, you know, then it's at their discretion to create BMPs, because they can already have that power, or,
well, it sounds like he needs more info to get it
yeah,
right.
but that's the bill. In that way, it's the same. They need the season, the bill gives them a year and a half or something, so there's not, you know, it's not a scramble. No matter what, they get time to do this.
But why can't we be a little more prescriptive in the letter?
And I don't want to push this out for a response, you know, for 2 more years. Or, I mean, I should think they would come back with a report by, say, January or February 15th at the latest. Come back with some kind of a response to what we asked them.
I gave you my copy, but the BMPs
There's that.
is the timeline here is, you know, it's create the BMPs, do blah, 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 blah. Implement, shall adopt the rules on or before July 1, 2024. So it's,
But see, I don't.
then there in the interim, in January 23, the Ag Innovation Board comes to us around other treated seeds that are not neonics. That's in my latest attempt, but so.
See, I think that's more than we should be pushing for.
Which part?
Well, that's
Well-
also, if the Innovation Board does it, they're gonna meet maybe once a month, maybe, you know, whereas if we pass a bill that says the department needs to make this happen, they're working every day. It just seems like you get more results from
Well, they're
making the agency
working
do it.
every day, let me tell you. a little story. We passed
They're
the,
at work every day.
the bill to pay farmers insurance premiums. And I expected, we did it in March or in the budget
Yeah, right.
adjustment, thinking that they would have that shit all up and going and start getting the checks out the door to at least those that
Applied.
have paid.
Yeah.
Well, they wanna have it stretched out now to end of September, because, you know, it's quite complicated. And,
Well, I mean, that's kind of the point, is that's why I'm a little less interested
and
in
that was a
getting a
bill.
report back and, like, let's just do this. This is, and again, I would be less, you know, I would be more relaxed if these were, if I was concerned that these were mandatory things. This is forcing the agency to create a guidance document. And after that is done, what the testimony's been presented is it kind of would create maybe some options, maybe some resources for farmers to look at. Likely would create the seed dealers to have more than just one option or a couple treated options at the store. If it were like, if I were convinced that this would topple the world and have it all be radically different for farmers, I would go slower. But that, you know, so we can go back to the Ag Innovation Board again, but I feel like we're just retreading here.
Well, why don't you work on getting this language pared down a little bit? I mean, you got 12 page, 7 pages here.
How many pages would you like?
One.
Why don't you? Why don't you and I will keep, that's what he said. You and I will keep working, okay? We'll try to see what
Yeah.
we can.
And if we can get, you know, something together that we can all kind of get around.
About if the bill says, please see the letter we attached and do it.
Letters not worth much.
Well, I think, we got 466 done.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Good
figure
shape.
this out.
And so is there anything else hanging out there that any of you
Not that I know of.
know about? No?
I don't think so.
Well, if there isn't anything else, then we'll adjourn, meeting, for the